Welcome, children of Aki, to the tale of Ishpiming and her children, the second chapter of Gune and Anishinaabe, the song of the first ones. Ishpiming is more beautiful than all other creations, for within her she creates all that we know, much like Grandmother Light does, but differently, because she also possesses Grandfather Night's magic. Ishpiming is capable of creating much smaller versions of herself within herself, but just like herself, these creations are not eternal like Grandfather Night and Grandmother Light, and exist only for a time's time and half a time, with each successive generation of creations living less in length than the one that bore it. In her first giga year of being, Ishpiming made her first generation of stars, the Nishinung, Miawug, and Kiawug, the first two great brother stars. Yet Miawug hated his brother Kiawug, and the two were in constant conflict from their birth onward. Eventually, one afternoon, under the breasts of Ishpiming, the two finally did a great battle, tearing at each other ferociously. That's when Miawug finally gripped Kiawug in a deathlock with his arms about his throat, while Kiawug reciprocated by ripping open Miawug's groin with his left hand, while his right hand clung to Ishpiming. The two of them rent each other to pieces in a cataclysmic eruption not known since Grandmother bore Ishpiming. Ishpiming was utterly distraught over the calamity that had befallen her two sons, and hurriedly tried to stop them and heal them, but it was too late. Grandfather's magic is very strong, and his paramount law, all that live shall die, cannot be averted, so they could not be remade as they were. Ishpiming, in her grief, became very determined, and sought to make many smaller stars for her second generation of children, so that they would learn Grandmother's magic of sharing, unlike Miawug and Kiawug. Ishpiming noticed that the bones of her children had special qualities that neither Miawug nor Kiawug had possessed, and she pondered long as to how that came to be. It would seem that in their bitter struggle, Grandmother's magic caused the two brothers to unwittingly transform their bones into heavier elements, and when Ishpiming gathered their bones to remake new children, she saw that these elements were far more in number and complexity than either Miawug or Kiawug had ever been during their lifetime. So to assuage her grief, Ishpiming started creating her second generation of children, some whose distant light still shines upon us to this very day. These are called the Niswazikata, the 777 ancient ones. Most are no longer with us, but a select few still live in the far distant reaches of Ishpiming. 700 of the largest Niswazikata are no more, having perished in a timely fashion according to the prime law of Grandfather Night, all that live shall die. The tears of melancholy and sorrow cover vast areas of Ishpiming, but Grandmother's binding magic of love is very strong, so that in their death all is not lost, for they shall be reborn as a new generation of stars, even should it take 1 billion of seasons to do so, and some would even have their tears become the water of life for uncounted generations of later creations. Of all the creations of Ishpiming, the Niswadikata are heralded as the most divine, for without their sacrificial tears, no life as we know it could exist, for they are the fountain of life within Ishpiming.